Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video with Saiyan Day literally only a few weeks away. We're going to be going through some of the potential EZA'S that could be coming for this year's Saiyan Day, but do let me know down in the comments out of any of the ones you see here, is there ones you would like to see most, or any units on this list or in this video that you would like to see EZA'd for this year's Saiyan Day. Now with this year's celebration, we could easily see previous Saiyan Day units finally receives EZA'S that they so desperately need, and I'm starting with my boy, the Super Saiyan transforming Jeets, the one that is also the same to the Goku and the Frieza that came out, I think, for worldwide, like years ago. I think it's worldwide, but he released back in 2019, so he is long overdue for an EZA. It's now 2023. That is 4 years. As I said, long overdue for an EZA. I'm not going to spend too much time going over what they could change, maybe gloss over some details. In terms of a lead, we could easily see him offer Ki +4 and like HP attack and defense plus 180 to pure Saiyans, and then superclass allies could receive Ki +3, HP and attack and defense plus 130%. He already stacks, which is quite nice, so that kind of needs to remain unchanged. And then Dokkan will probably do what they usually do and maybe add a stun in there, a seal, or maybe like lowers attack and defense. In terms of the passive, mainly just needs to be updated. These numbers need to increase maybe to like 100%, 120, considering you transform so many times, probably 100% would be fine. But if they want to bump it up a little bit more, I'm all here for it. I'm here for good Jeets units. He then gets an additional attack plus 6% per keys for obtained. Up the numbers on this per keys for obtained, and then instead of just solely attack plus 6%, give him attack and defense plus whatever number they decide to pump up to. In terms of something else they could add, simply to the Goku, of course, he gets like extreme condition buffs when you're facing extreme class enemies. Maybe offer the same to Vegeta. When you're facing extreme class enemies, maybe he gets an extra attack and defense plus like 50% or something. Or maybe he has a built-in crit or additional when you're facing an extreme class enemy. However, for me, to kind of keep him in line with like the current meta, in terms of where the standards are for that, I would like the fact, considering he stacks on every single transformation until blue, I would like the fact if he had a built-in additional, just so we could stack a little bit more. It doesn't have to be a guaranteed additional or a guaranteed additional super. Have a built-in additional with like a 30 or 50% chance of that attack becoming an additional super. That way he can stack up quicker, his defense can get on par with some of the other top units in the game, and his EZA doesn't really go to waste. And while he's stacking up the entire time, of course, by the time he gets to blue, he stops stacking. So I think that will work really well. In terms of something else they can add, as I said, just any extra buffs when facing extreme class enemies, and this is like a first base kind of unit, can work well. In terms of the transformation conditions, since this isn't an active, this can actually be changed. I mean, they could drop the turn condition down on every single unit by 1. Maybe transforms starting from the second turn, and so on and so on. But other than that, I can't really see them do too much, considering this is like the first form in all of his transformations. Then we have the Super Vegeta form, which again, just add an effect onto this where he either seals, stuns, lowers attack and defense, or greatly lowers attack and defense at this point. Again, update the numbers accordingly, depends on what the first transformation or the first form starts with. So if that's 100, this is like 110. Maybe you can go up to 20%, that's probably too much though. Or maybe if the other one starts from 120, this goes to 130, etc. Those type of things. Again, alter this so it's more of a percentage based on what the first form is off of, and then make it attack and defense. Again, apply those extreme class conditions, and then this is where the transformation conditions just end up writing themselves, where if it starts from turn 2, every other turn Vegeta appears, he'll transform. You don't really have to do too much to these forms. It's mainly the first one and blue that kind of start the trend again. Update these numbers, attack and defense, extreme class conditions, and then all the rest of them are just going to be the same until we get to here, which, just like the Frieza, this is where he stops stacking. So by this point in like a Broly, Vegeta, if he did have a built-in additional, would have some pretty solid defense. At this point, I think you want to add you know, a defensive SA effect on here as well. So instead of a 50% attack raise, give him a 50% attack and defense raise, and then do the typical Dokkan thing, which is greatly lower attack and defense as well afterwards. These numbers will be a lot higher, of course, depending on what they would up the other percentage by. So this could be, by the time he's finished transforming to blue, this could be like 180, maybe 200%. He then gets an additional attack plus 10% per keys for obtained. Again, change this to attack and defense, and then up these numbers, maybe it's like 20-30%. And then give him like, I don't know, maybe an extra 50% attack and defense when performing a super attack. And then again, those extreme class conditions, maybe gets extra attack and defense, maybe even Ki when facing extreme class enemies. And then maybe give him a built-in crit as well when you're facing extreme class enemies, just to make it that much sweeter. And then of course, he has the nuking ability in his passive where he changes all Ki spheres of a certain types to Fizz Ki spheres once only. They want to add anything else to my boy, like damage reduction, guard, those type of things. They probably won't. I'm all here for it though, but I think taking a similar kind of foundation from the transforming Goku and then updating it to Jeets, I think that'll work pretty well. The next unit we have is the transforming Bardock, another one who is long overdue in EZA. To be fair, he was actually long overdue in EZA as soon as he released, just because he wasn't that good. But another one long overdue. He was released in 2020. It's now, by the time Saiyan Day comes around, going to be that 3-year period where units typically receive EZAs. I don't see both Vegeta and Bardock picking up EZAs if they do decide to EZA previous Saiyan Day units. I only see one of them. It will most likely be Jeets, but you never know with Dokkan. They kind of do whatever they want. If they want to do both, I'm completely here for it because they both need it, especially with one of them being a Jeets unit. But in terms of Bardock, in terms of the leader skill, you have Revenge or low class warrior category with already Ki +4, which is very nice. I don't see them bumping up to 5. Don't get me wrong, it'd be really nice, but I don't really see them doing that. So in terms of the HP, attack and defense, this will probably be a flat 180, most likely. He also stacks defense, which is very nice as well. Cause immense damage to the enemy. Again, just to add on an effect, which what Dokkan typically does. Lower attack, lower defense, lower both. Seal stun, any of those type of things. Attack and defense plus 120. They could easily bump this up to like 150, maybe 160. He then gets an additional attack plus 10% per low class warrior category ally on the team, up to 50%. Once again, up these numbers and add defense in as well. Maybe he gets an extra 20%. Maybe put this all the way up to like an extra 100%. So yeah, give him an extra like attack and defense plus 20%. Per low class warrior category ally. It will make him a lot better, especially pre-transformed and not just there for stacking, but also not only that as well, low class warrior category is not the best category. You may be able to like pull from other Goku units when you run him on other categories, but for the most part you're not going to get much. So maybe give those numbers a little bit of an inflation. He also has his attacks effective against all types when facing a wicked bloodline category enemy. You can keep this is fine. Maybe tie in a crit in there as well or something, but that's completely fine. Once again, just like Jeets to kind of keep him up with the current meta. I mean, they could do a goal hunt and give him guard while he stacks. That will be good. And that will help him out a lot, and especially kind of remove that risk of stacking him up in harder content like Red Zone. And then again, I would also give him an additional. Whether that's when facing a wicked bloodline category ally, I would prefer if it wasn't. Just give him a built-in crit. Again, a 30%, 50% chance of becoming an additional super. Give him a built-in crit with a chance. That's more than fine with me to help stack up his defense a bit quicker. If they want to do a goal hunt and give him an additional and a guard, I'm completely here for that, because not only does he stack up quicker, but it then removes some of that risk. It makes him really good or a really solid unit pre-transformation that you actually want to use. In terms of active skill conditions, of course, Dokkan doesn't change these, so these are going to remain the same. And in terms of the conditions, considering they're like an Eva or an Andor condition, they're not bad. A 4th turn transformation is pretty good. Considering he stacks, you're going to want to keep him untransformed for as long as possible, unless they decide to completely wild out with his Super Saiyan form, or it can be activated anytime when there's a Wicked Bloodline category enemy. This is already fine, although Dokkan don't change active skill conditions anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And in terms of when he's in Super Saiyan, he does raise attack and defense for 1 turn, bump this up to a 50% attack and defense raise, and then this is fine. I don't really care about the rest of it. And then he gets attack plus 180 and defense plus 100%. Maybe knock this up to 200 and then knock this up to like 150, 180, or just give him a flat 200. Why not? Bardock was shafted enough. Give him the love he deserves. Just why not? Just give him a flat 200%, but just increase numbers is what I'm going for. He then still remains and keeps the attacks effective against all types when attacking extreme class enemies. So of course that changes from Wicked Bloodline. This is even better when you considering you're in Red Zone and you're always facing extreme class enemies. That's pretty good. Keep that. He then gets Ki +3. They don't really need to change that if they want to give him more Ki. I mean, he's not an LR, he doesn't really need it. But by all means, if they want to up the Ki, up the Ki. I think when performing a super attack, he should get like an additional attack and defense plus 50% or something when performing a super attack, just to make him that bit bulkier. He then also has a chance to perform a critical hit and evading enemies' attack plus 18% damage reduction and 18% by 18% for 5 turns from the start of turn. This is also nice. In terms of upping these numbers, I don't see them upping the numbers just because the 18% is meant to correlate with Saiyan Day. Of course, Saiyan Day always takes place on the 18th, which it does for me. But yeah, it's always on the 18th, so I see them sticking with the 18%, which is fine. In terms of anything else they can add here, I mean, it's good as long as he gets all the extra defense he needs, which is why I said give him an additional attack defense plus 50% from the super attack. That damage reduction, while it's only 18%, it kind of works out a bit better. Maybe increase the 5 turns to like 10, or maybe increase it to 10 and then add an extra condition like God Goku, where it's like it drops down to a certain amount after like 5 turns or 10 turns. He also launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack, and all attacks become critical hits when there is a Wicked Bloodline category enemy. I feel like this should be changed, and I feel like he should have that built-in additional and have either a 30 or 50% chance of launching an additional super attack naturally in his passive, especially if his pre-transform state has it as well. And then give him a guaranteed crit and a guaranteed additional, not a chance, a guaranteed additional and a guaranteed crit if you're facing a Wicked Bloodline enemy. So that way he has 2 built-in additionals, one's guaranteed if you're facing a Wicked Bloodline category enemy, and one there is a chance. And I think that'll work really well for Bardock and finally make him an actual decent usable unit. Now we have some EZA'S if Dokkan decides, and I mean it's looking likely, but if Dokkan decides to give us a Dokkan Fest Super Saiyan God Goku of some form, which it's looking likely we're going to get. So here's some EZA'S we could get if it's going to be a Super Saiyan God Goku, and also Battle of Gods themed as well. So of course, if we do get a Super Saiyan God Goku, it's time. It's finally time that all of these summonable different type Super Saiyan God Gokus finally receive EZA'S. They all dropped, actually no, this one dropped in 2017, this one dropped in 2018, and so did this one. It's time they all get EZA'S. It's 2023, they've been out for what, 5 years, this one's been out for 6. They're way, in terms of the Vegeta and Bardock, these guys are way overdue EZA'S. In terms of what they can do, I'm not entirely too sure because they have like a really bare bones passive, a lot of them, just because of how old they are. But in terms of whatever this new Super Saiyan God Goku may have in his kit, they basically just should have a B-Tech version of that. But it's time for these guys to get EZA'S. Hopefully they're pretty good. Hopefully they work well with the new one. And then I've even gone a step further. Of course, this is the free-to-play Goku you can get. Give this guy an easy area. Give this guy an easy area. Give him an easy area through that. And then, keeping it Battle of Gods themed, we can finally EZA my boy Super Saiyan 2 Rage Vegeta. That's my Bulma! Give him an EZA. I've been wanting him to get an EZA for years. Again, another one long overdue, 2018. It's been 5 years. In terms of what they could do for him, Superclass kit. I mean, he is also a sub-lead for this, so make it 120, 130. On super attack, greatly raised attack for 1 turn. His whole thing's about, you know, kind of going rage. So, I mean, you could keep the 50% attack raised, then give him like a 30% defense increase, or you give him a flat 50% for both. Or, this is a little bit biased, so I'm not gonna lie, you could go a step further than that and give him a massively raised attack for 1 turn and a 50% defense raise. Why not? Just complete balls to the wall, maybe give him a stun, up these numbers to like 120 or so, 150. He also counters normals, which is good. However, a unit that has a counter who doesn't have some type of like defensive coverage in the form of, you know, damage reduction or guard, he needs something. So I think he needs, obviously these numbers need updating, give him an additional attack and defense when performing a super attack, and then that sets up the counters. And I think whether that's per keys for obtained, whether he needs to be hit a certain amount of times to build this up, I don't really mind. But give him some form of damage reduction, either at the start of turn, and then let him build it up by getting hit, which then the counters with the damage reduction will help that. And then he has like a total of like 40, 50% damage reduction, or just let him build it all up. And then he keeps it, unlike LRSSB. But if you had like 30, 40, 50% damage reduction after like at the start of turn and the build up, that'll work really well with counters, because otherwise you're countering, which is great, and you can crit counter, but he's also taking a lot of damage back. So he does need some damage reduction. I would go with damage reduction at the start of turn, just because of what he done in Battle of Gods, where he firms the bang from Beerus. Give him like a 20% at the start of turn, and then let him build up an extra 10%, or give him 30% at the start of turn, and let him build up an extra 10% from getting hit. It works really well. I would like him with that. They don't really have to do too much else. If they want to, by all means, go for it. Make him insane. I'd love that. He also has range conditions where he'll transform when HP is 30% or less. The typical format for Dokkan to bump this up will literally be go from 30% HP to 40, which is completely fine. And then the last EZA, which will be another easy area, is the free-to-play Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and Bulma, where, you know, he doesn't even have a Dokkan Awakening yet, Oh no, he does have Dokkan Awakening. I mean, you can give him an extra form, or you could just give him a straight flat easy area, but either way, easy area with this guy. And then just basically give him a B-Tech version of the strength version or something similar. I do think Ki needs to be added into the other one's passive as well. Maybe some extra Ki with him, just because don't forget this is a Vegeta and Bulma unit, so the links aren't the best. So they need to have a little bit of a pick-me-up in there as well, so maybe some extra Ki. But I think these EZAs would suit the celebration well, especially if it's a Super Saiyan God Goku. We could still see a previous Saiyan Day unit pick up an EZA. I don't think it will be both, but as I said, at the end of the day, as Dokkan, they can do whatever they want. I'd be happy for both Vegeta and Bardock to get one, but I think one of them makes sense and then save the other one for next year. It's time to start EZAing previous Saiyan Day units, and then if it is a Super Saiyan God Goku, all these EZAs fit the theme perfectly. Finally, those trio of Super Saiyan God units can finally get EZAs. The free-to-play Super Saiyan God Gokus can also get EZAs through easy areas. That's more content. Dokkan, I'm writing this for you. I'm basically printing you money. That's what I'm doing right now. And then if it is a Super Saiyan God Goku, it'll be from Battle of Gods. To fit that Battle of Gods theme, you then have an extra EZA with the Rage Vegeta, and then a free-to-play one as well, which is also easy area content. I'm writing a celebration for you. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. All the support is very much appreciated, and let me know your thoughts. But I'll see you next one, guys. Take care, have a good day, and peace.